It's another affiliate site teardown. This is Podcast Insights. By the way, if you're new to the channel, have a look around, have a look at some of the other videos. I talk about Amazon affiliate marketing and internet marketing in general, sometimes project management. And if you like what you see, please consider subscribing. Let's get to the teardown. I love this site. They're doing some awesome stuff. But here's the thing, when I first go to the site, there's this pop-up, get notified when new posts and giveaways come out. This is a popular thing where they push updates. Now, me personally, I don't want to get updates. I try and limit my updates. So on a personal level, I don't implement this stuff. A lot of other sites do, but for me, it's a little heavy-handed. And here's the thing. So I'm going to click right now. Just moving my mouse up here, I guess URL bar, an exit intent pop-up came up. So it's like a little heavy-handed initially, but I understand what they're trying to do. And I'm sure they're doing really well. Now, they're obviously building an email list. We're going to start as normal on the homepage. I'm going to take a look at a few of the guides. This is going to be a, fairly concise, and I think I'll do more reviews of this site because they're doing such a great job if you leave a comment. So if you want to see more teardowns of specific areas, leave me a comment. Let me know what areas you want me to check out on this site, and then we'll go from there. So let's get to this one. Homepage, very simple design. They have a nice, simple header area here. So it's a menu, of course. And they have a search bar here, which is nice. And then they have just a text title, no fancy logo or anything like that. They have a very high quality image of a microphone, which is great. And it's obviously oriented towards podcasting. So it's sort of like an old radio style. All right. So they have just a simple headline, and we'll click on see what you need. And then it drops down to the next part. So it just moved us down a little bit. They have a podcast microphone guide here, and they're trying to build their email list. So totally cool. And I get, why they're doing this. So this is a great way to sort of lead in with a two-step opt-in. So we haven't even gotten to any of the review stuff yet, but here's the thing. If you're just starting your site, you probably don't need to start an email list like this. There's a lot of moving pieces, and I'll leave it at that. So they are building an email list, but you don't have to do this. In fact, most of the time I would say it's better not to build an email list when you're just starting your site. As we scroll down, they are trying to segment you. So are you just a beginner or are you intermediate? And then when you click either one of these, it pushes you towards a podcast starter kit. So we'll open that up in another tab, and then turning pro. So you kind of know what you're getting into, and they push you towards more sophisticated microphones, which are XLR. So we'll open that up. Those are in other tabs we'll take a look at in a second. And as we scroll down, they have recent posts. So this is a recent post section, and they actually have quite a few of these. So typically I would say don't have too much on your homepage, but the way they have this laid out, I actually kind of like it. So sometimes I think people put way too much in their homepage, but they just have a couple of the, more recent one. It looks like maybe 5 or 6 of them. And then they have a pretty healthy excerpt. So I think this is fine. Of course, at the bottom, they have, a standard affiliate disclaimer. They have some other links that we'll take a look at as well. Before we head over to the About page, let's look quickly at the podcast starter kit and then the XLR microphones. And quick reminder, if you are interested in seeing more teardowns of different areas on this specific site, let me know in the comments and I'll do another video or two. Here's the starter kit section. So first thing we see is they are heavy on the email list. So this is probably very smart for a number of reasons. We'll get to the email list in a second, but or we'll get to the review in a second. The email list is great because they're able to, sell other products. I assume they have a podcast. We'll get that in a second. They have a podcast, so they could push people to their podcast, and it's a whole, it's a bigger brand. When people talk about authority sites, I expect this is what they're probably talking about. So as we scroll down, I would say just a little tiny thing. It'd be interesting to, make this section with the opt-in stand out a little bit more. Not a huge deal, but, I would maybe check that out. They do have we've been featured on section, so this builds credibility. And these are big ass sites. These are big sites, and Shure is a microphone company. In fact, I have a couple Shure mics. And if you're wondering, the mic that I'm using here is a Audux i5. So it actually works pretty well. And I'll put an affiliate link in the description if you care, but it sounds pretty good, right? Okay. So they have Best Podcast Starter Kit. They're qualifying it, and for 1 to 4 plus hosts, which I guess that basically covers everything. 1, 2, 3, or 4 or more. Okay, so as we scroll down, they have a good hook. So ready to start a podcast, audio quality as you add more people. So they're really like roping us in, and I'm thinking, hey, what else do we have going on? They have the share bar here, and yeah, I guess in this specific area, it could be like for podcast, it could be, viable. It could be useful. As we see here, only 6 people shared it on Pinterest and 3 on Facebook. So 9 total, not super effective. And it's just taking up real estate. I don't know. I don't think on a lot of affiliate sites, people are really sharing stuff. So it's not bad to have them on, but just an observation. So again, they have an opt-in area. This is a nice way to do opt-ins, by the way. There's a nice box. It's called out just a bit, and then you have to click a text link. So that's a nice way to do it as well. When we click the text link, I'm sure a pop-up is going to come up. So it's looks like a monster, opt-in monster, which is what I use as well. So this is a very nice looking, opt-in box. It fits with their brand, a beautiful image and all that stuff. So this is pretty good. I like that overall. All right, as we're scrolling down, we see they're talking about the different things you would need. So again, this is for beginners. So they're like giving you lots of information. Potentially, this is a minor tweak, right? Potentially, I would say like make the links a different color just to make them stand out a little bit. From a design standpoint, this looks really clean and good. I like the way this site looks in general, but to make your links a different color is kind of a standard thing to do. So they've obviously made a decision not to do that. They're pushing a lot of affiliate links here. So they have recording software, or sorry, that's not an affiliate link, but that's a link to somewhere else. But they do have hosting listed. They have WP Engine, and they have another DreamHost over here, domain, Namecheap. So they have a lot of stuff going on here. As we scroll down, they do have the starter kits that we're talking about. So they have a table of contents down below. And one thing that I like is they're doing a table of contents, but it's not too big. They're just like outlining it a little bit. I've seen some table of contents where it's 2 or 3 pages. Everything's in there. It's just too much and it takes up too much space. This is really good. It can get you right to where you need to go. Okay, as we're scrolling down, we see the Audio Technica 2100. So I actually have one of these mics as well. It's really nice for travel. They reference Tim Ferriss using it, and this is an affiliate link right here, right? So they're using Genius Link. So that's an affiliate link on the image. The text is a link here. It has they talk about some of the features, but not many. All right. So this is interesting. So they have a 1-person starter kit. Not really giving you too many details about it. They could list out specs and that sort of thing. Now they do have a full review if you check this out right here. So they have a full review right here. And okay, so that's a little bit bad on the user experience, but again, I understand they're trying to build their email list. So I opened another tab and I just wanted to click over to the tab, and then their pop-up came back. I don't really want to see the pop-up again. All right, as we scroll down, this is the individual review, and I'm just thinking, this is probably more thorough. They do talk about the specs and the pros and highlights and all that stuff. Frequency response, I assume they got this from the manufacturer. So it's a decent size review, and they have some accessories that go with it. That is a great move, right? you probably want a shock mount. It does come with a little tripod deal right here, but you probably want this shock mount, and they tell you why you need it. So that's good and more thorough. I think it could be interesting if they had a few more details in this beginner section. As we scroll down, they give you an intermediate option. So this is really good. This reminds me of the wire cutter reviews. So check that out if you haven't seen those teardowns, but the wire cutter often gives you multiple options. So in this case, it's like beginner, intermediate, intermediate plus, and then a pro option. Now it's interesting. This is literally in the podcast starter kit, but doesn't mean that you're literally a starter. So if you wanted to go high end, you could get this Heil PR40, and they talk about, you know, the broadcast quality, and it's so highly recommended that it's nearly unanimous. As we scroll down, they have 2, 3, and 4 person podcast starter kit. So they're just qualifying this a little bit more, and they give the same sort of details. Quick observation. So they don't have many images in this section, but the spacing is, you know, sufficient, and they're using bullet points, small sentences, and this is a good thing. This makes it easier to read. All right, so this makes it easier to read even though there's no images here. So they're breaking up the text, they're using short, easy to read sentences, and it's just a good way, you know, to write content for the web. And if you're writing a novel, or you're a professional writer or something, you may get frustrated with people writing in such short sentences, or, you know, not even complete sentences. I'm guilty of it as well. But for online and web writing, you write in a simple way. So that's just the way it goes. Okay, as we're scrolling down, they have an intermediate option, and this is a nitpick here. So they have, there's just so many sections here. I'm like, oh, this is an intermediate option for, what is it again? And we're in the multiple person section. So it's an intermediate option for multiple people. Now, it could be because I'm scrolling through fast and I'm not reading the whole thing, but it just makes it a little bit slightly confusing. If you're just scrolling down, you may forget where you're at. Okay, and they have sufficient links throughout. One thing that I really like that they're doing is they're not slamming it full of images all over the place, because a lot of people get very concerned about, you know, I need to put images in, I need to put big, beautiful images in. You see here, they have a few images, but there's usually, you know, it looks like about 10 text links per like image affiliate link that they have. So there's an image here, but there are several other affiliate links below it. The point being, if you're describing things well, if you have the right kind of visitor on your site, you don't have to hit them over the head with images and affiliate links. You know, it's just not necessary. They have some of the Amazon native ads here, which have the price, it has the rating, and an image. You know, it's good to place these at the bottom if somebody got all the way to the end and they are, you know, pushing those specific models. This is a nice way to do it. For me, these ads didn't convert super well, but I mean, the chances are if somebody scrolled through all of this, they've clicked on several of these items already. Okay. At the end, they have another opt-in section. Looks a little bit different. That's nice. They keep it brief, 3 bullet points on why you would want it. And of course, is highly targeted podcast, microphone, guide. Okay, and that's pretty much it here for the beginner. For the XLR, this is the intermediate. I'm not going to go as deep here, but again, just a reminder, if you want to see more teardowns of this site, Podcast Insights, let me know in the comments. Okay, so this is a little bit longer of a table of contents, which is generally fine. They do have a hook at the beginning, and then they are covering many different microphones. And this kind of makes sense to me. So if it's someone who's more intermediate, they know more about microphones, or they're going to have more background knowledge, and they're going to geek out on microphones and stuff. I'm surprised I didn't, you know, read this when I was picking and buying new microphones and stuff. All right, so they have a couple quick things. So they're giving us a definition and letting us know like dynamic versus condenser. And As we scroll down, we see they again use the smart sort of qualifying technique where they say there's budget considerations, and then there are, I guess, higher end. Where did that go? And then the best XLR mics for voice recording. So they qualify it, and then they have a bunch of these mini reviews throughout. They have upgrades here. So these again are affiliate links, but they're saying, hey, pair this microphone with these accessories. Very smart, advanced stuff that they're doing here. So nothing really notable here other than these are generally short. So technically, if they wanted to, they have an opportunity to make these longer. I suspect they may have like longer reviews for, certain models of these. But the point is they could, put more bullet points in here. They could put more details in each of the mini reviews. All right. So that's like the main thing here. As normal, I'm going to cover the about page. So I saw like down at the bottom. So I'll click on about. We could take a look at their affiliate disclosure as well. You'll notice they have a floating bar over here for Amazon. It looks like an Amazon link. I'm not 100% sure of the specific banner, but it's a great, it's obviously super targeted. And yeah, this indeed, I'm looking at where this link goes to. So it's an Amazon link, and it's, it looks nice, super targeted, and it's just the right thing for the stuff they have on this site. So on the about page, this is an awesome about page. It would be really good if they had a picture of themselves on here, but they don't, and that's okay. But they do talk about like the right equipment. They guide us to different areas on the site. So the starter page that we were just looking at, the starter kit, they have like hosting options, podcast directories, and then they're just guiding us all over the place. Now, the thing is, the person says, hey, I run Paid Insights, which is a marketing consulting agency, and they're out of Littleton, Colorado. And they talk about other stuff that they're interested in. So it's more personal. They keep it brief. And the thing is, they talk about like what they're offering you. So they're saying, our goal here is to help you. That's a great way to start. If you're going to keep it in this sort of anonymous fashion, this is a very nice way to do it, where you're focusing on the visitor. And for a podcast where people are obviously trying to learn stuff and buy things, that's a good way to handle it. So no image of the person, but they do give you like their other businesses and stuff. So they're able to, connect in that way. If someone's actually interested in learning more, you could go over and learn more about this person. Now, we will notice they have Set Sail, which is obviously a podcast. So they have, it's good. They're talking about podcast equipment, and then they also have podcasts. So you can see this stuff over here. Good branding. It looks nice and it stands out, right? So it's very contrasty with the white background, black text, and this, the black blocks with a white text on here. So I think this is great. And moving to the affiliate disclosure, they keep it pretty tight. This is what they're supposed to have on here. So they're a participant. This is pretty standard text. And they say they may use other affiliate programs to generate revenue when linking to products and so on, like the hosting, like the software, stuff like that. At this time, no free products have been provided to influence our reviews. If they are, we'll make it clear in the post, as we want to make it honest and transparent as possible. So that's great to know. So they are not getting free products. Occasionally, if you have a site that's getting traffic, you'll start getting offers for, hey, we'll send you this stuff to review, and you have to disclose that. It's an FTC regulation. Okay, so that sort of covers it. We looked at a couple of the reviews. We looked at the about page. This is a great site, and we haven't even gotten into some of the other sections that they have. So they have various guides, and in fact, we'll just take a quick look at this. I won't dive into them, but I'll just click on guides and see. So they have guides and resources. So this seems to be, somewhat of a category type page. So these are all the guides that they have out there. So we see there's a lot of, different posts, and they tell you how to do something. So this is a great way to divide it, and, they're not overwhelming us with too many options here. So overall, I think this is an awesome site. And like I mentioned a few times, they have a focus on building their email list, which if you know, how to get the traffic, if you already know how to write the content, and you're trying to layer on, more marketing channels, an email list is fantastic. If you're just getting started, I usually advise people don't try and start an email list until you have, a certain number of visitors per day, say 500 or so, or you're experienced, or your site's been around for a while. Now, the thing is, if you start an email list and you're just like beginning your site, you're going to get a very small amount of traffic. And to learn the skills to, build an email list and copywriting for the emails and all that stuff, it's kind of involved. So it's too many things going on at once. And that's why most of the time I say, don't worry about an email list until you're more experienced. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this site? What do you like? Do you have any tips for them? And I'll mention it again, if you want to see more teardowns of specific areas on this site, they obviously review a lot of different items here. Let me know in the comments and I will shoot another video, but I have to get, some insight if you guys are interested or not. We'll see you next time on Tuesday Teardowns.